All right, we're back with Revit 2020 for architecture, University of Montana, fall semester 2021. And we're going to continue on chapter 2, part 2, and we're going to continue where we left off around page 66, 67. We're going to start building more interior partitions. And on page 68, you get a little bit of a sneak peek of what's about to come on more of that. We're going to start by making the radial wall to the right between the CMU walls over here. We're just going to start that we're on floor plan level 1 here, of course, our home base, our project browser, and we're going to go to wall in architecture. We're going to basic wall interior 6 1/8 partition wall, right? And we're going to check this option. Always check your options. Always check your status bar to see what you should do here and here for verbs and adjectives to describe your object up on top, the options bar. Essentially, we're going to leave that at 0. We want this wall to go to level 2. We'll start here. First, we're going to make sure it's a start end radius arc. We'll start here at this endpoint. Option flips it. Okay. Endpoint, radius, instead of dragging out, we're just going to type in 20, enter, and we're going to hit escape. So in this next wall, we're going to start doing our middle corridor area soon, but take in mind your grips. Flip still at this point. Your grips can move in and out to connect to walls. Obviously, that's not what we want, but we'll go back, right? So your grips are powerful editing tools, oftentimes in Revit. We're going to go to start our next walls, and we're going to rotate it, mirror it about with an offset about our reference point in the very middle. If you look very close on page 71, that's going to be our pick point. I'll zoom in there in a minute. We're going to use that as our basis of mirroring or offset, so we can build the 2 corridor walls in the middle very quickly and easily. We'll start with grabbing our wall, right click and saying create similar. Now we're going to do a handful of things here. We're going to say finish face interior for our justification of the wall, still level 2. We're going to say offset of 4. This is critical. Okay. And we're going to start by drawing, and we're going to keep the line command picked. Okay. So we're going to draw an actual line, 2 points. That's our basis. Which is right there. If you didn't see the midpoint, that's where we started. And we'll go to the left. We're going to keep this command active as we go. Let's go to the midpoint of this wall. And let's continue on. I didn't leave the command. I'm continuing it. I'll bring it right about here. And we hit escape twice. Now we're going to use our grips for a little bit of power here. And drag wall and grip in the middle. Drag wall and grip in the middle here for now. There we go. We got our corridor started. We're going to jump into page 72 and start building some more partition walls. Lavatories up here. I'm going to go a little quick through this, not to get them perfect. If I'm having a little trouble, I'll do my best methods that I know of right now. I'm going to say create similar. We're going to possibly utilize a variety of options, whether it be reference planes or temporary dimensions or mirroring things, copying things. A lot of Revit is, you build parametrically as you go, and you change dimensions to what you need them to be and build from there, so you don't have a big mess of random dimensions as you go. So on this one, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to start by building finish face interior. I have up here. Let's see how this pans out. I'm going to pull it to 12 with that dimension. I'm going to flip it to that side. So that is my inside, right? I knew when I had that dimension, if I go that way, it's going to be less than 12. Let's just see what happens here. So I'm going to pull that into this wall. Hit escape twice. Let's click on this wall, check the dimensions. So you see it's 12 now because I hovered to 12. So when I was about to draw the wall, I had, let's try it one more time. Right click, select similar. When I was drawing it, or when I was about to place it, let's try that one more time. When I was placing it here, I was looking at dimension 5 or whatever that dimension is moving, right? And I was looking at where it started, its origin point right here. And it's saying, okay, that's where I want to start that wall. Well, that wall is going to be based off of that dimension, the justification wall, finished face interior. So where you place that, that's where you can flip it left and right with that space bar. So think about that's where it's going. This is its justification. I wanted to go to the interior because of the picture on page 72. All the dimensions go to the interior of the walls if you don't notice. So that's helpful to have that as my reference. And so when I draw this, say 9 feet from here, if I go that way, that is truly 9 feet between those two walls. If I go that way, it's whatever the 9 feet minus 6 1/8 of an inch is, you know, a fraction of that. So there we go. But if we flip it, now it's 9 feet. So you see the power in that as we go, drawing parametrically at the beginning, getting the first ones lined up. Let's draw the next wall. I've clicked it there. You can also right click and say create similar. We'll do the same thing. We got a 6-foot one down here, down in this direction, in this direction here. So let's just draw it. Let's pull temporary dimension. It likes to move around a lot, right? It gets a little squirrely. So I'm going to start with that 4'6". I need 1.5 feet more. Finished face interior is fine. Start that. I want it on the other side of that, just like there. Okay. Hit space bar. Go to the middle of the wall. Hit escape twice. Let's change that to 6. Just drafting as I go here the best I can. There's many ways to do this, but I'm learning as I go a little bit myself. Same wall, say create similar again. This one wants to go off this reference plane real bad, and I find that kind of annoying. I wonder if there's a way you could tell it to go off of somewhere else. One way would be to offset that. We could also come from this direction, possibly, right? Let's just try this. So we don't know the dimension. This is kind of a trick. They don't have all the dimensions. This one, they have this dimension from here to here is 12 feet. It wants to keep that. So I drug it down there. I'm just kind of tricking out the temporary dimensions to make them do what I want. Now it's 7. Let's try that now. And all I did was I grabbed and held this wall and just moved it until it referenced what I wanted to. So I got a little closer to down here. This dimension automatically went down here dynamically and forgot this reference plane. You can also delete this out if that's getting in your way, but I'm going to leave it. I'm just showing you some different options. Let's say 12 now. Okay, then it went to 12, bumped it up. Let's try our next wall. I'll start from that command up here instead of saying create similar. Let's get this right. Let's say 2 feet. Yes. That's what I want for that gap, right? But I want it on the other side, space bar in the center. Escape twice. So it's just some drafting 101. Lots of different little tricks, but we're all learning this together. So, but try to do so much at a time, you know, don't try to do everything at once, and don't try to do too little so you got a big mess to dimension later, because you based everything off of a bad dimension, say a center of a building or something. So you don't want to go too far before you get things lined up to what you want, because you could have a hard time later. That's kind of just general drafting and design 101 kind of stuff, but it takes sometimes a little while to learn until you build a more complex model. These Walls aren't all that complex, but there's a little bit of geometry to it in order. So what we're going to do next with these, I did a cross box over them, you can see, and I'm going to mirror these. Mirror pick axis and the modify walls command, and we go here, hover, activate it. It says it went, shows, escape twice, take that. So another thing you can do too, after you build stuff like this, you can go to the measure command up here, or in modify here, between entities or along an element, a specific element. Let's just go between entities. You can check some of these dimensions, say if you need it to be X, Y, or Z. You can check them to whatever datums you need to. This is very handy in just seeing where you're at as you design. Another kind of drafting 101 thing, it's very critical to do that a lot of times, so you can kind of stay on track, so you're not, you know, just guesstimating, and you're checking as you go, and you're building as you go. So let's make our middle corridor, right click, and I'm going to say create similar again, and let's see our options here. We're on page 74, and the options bar, we're going to do finish face exterior for the justification of the wall. Okay. Actually, excuse me, interior. So that's where justify is about. So that's when you hit that space bar, that's where it's moving about. That's that's part of it. We hit 4 here for the offset, 4 on one side. We're going to have the line command once again, like we did before. Now we're going to start. It doesn't matter if we start to the top or bottom, but this one wants to start at the top. So we're going to start, we're going to hover in here until it hits a midpoint. I want this in the midpoint of this wall. There we go. There's the midpoint snap. That's what we want. And we got the offset of 4 on, that's key. So when we're looking for our origin point to offset about. There, it did it. So my dotted line, that's what it's offsetting about. I'm going to go down, go to the middle of this wall, the O snap triangle, midpoint again, leave the command running, don't escape from it. We're going to, because we know we want to build this wall back. Keep it going when you can to, if you know you want to continue your building. Now I'm done. 4 feet, 4 feet, escape twice. We're getting there. We're on page 75, and we're going to look at these intersection of this corridor. We're going to draw another work plane panel to draft about, and you'll see the power of why I do that in a minute. We're going to create some 45-degree walls to open up the corridor in this area. We're going to draw another reference plane. So we're going to go to the architecture tab, reference plane. And we're going to do the pick lines button and 4-foot offset. You can do positive or negative on these to go left or right initially. I just learned that recently. We're going to pick from the finish inside face of the top horizontal corridor wall. Wow, that sounds confusing, but the good thing they got a picture here. Offset the reference plane up. So look at the bottom of page 75. It's definitely this one. It's our only option on that. But see how I have it going like this? It wants to go up and down. So zoom out far enough so you can see where it's going to go. See how it's moving it around. The hover. Zoom out far enough so you can see what it's doing. There we go. Left data click. Escape. Reference planes are your friends. They help you draft better and more accurately, and we'll see here in a minute what that means. I'm going to hit the start wall command again, hit escape. Or it says save project. I'll just save the project. We're back on our home architecture tab base. Wall command. Now I'm going to draw these 45-degree walls, but to get it exactly where I want, I need kind of an origin point, right? So that's why we made this reference plane for that. Mainly for that in this initial one, to get our geometry right, to base the rest of them off of. So options bar, always check the options bar, always check the status bar. we're going to make sure that the location line is justified from the finish face exterior this time. And we're going to pick the start point. This gets a little surgical here. It says, if you read your text on page 76, and I'll show you in a second, but we're going to do the intersection of the reference plane and the inside finish face, right face of the left vertical wall. So see the figure on, so we're going to go over here. That's what it looks like to me, how they best describe it. It could be the middle. Let's see what that looks like. So we're going to continue on this way. I think when we'll know it's right is if my dimension matches their dimension. So see my angles off there to the upper right, it's 45 degrees. Okay, so that's the degrees we want. I didn't quite pick in the right spot, but this is essentially what we're doing. Hit escape. Let's do that again. And let's pick the center this time. And let's get the 45 degrees, right? See how it's moving at 1 degree increments. That's nice. We have the finished face exterior. Let's try one more thing. Let's try going over here. It's about the same. We'll just start from the middle. 45 degrees. Let's make sure that's correct. That's the biggie. There we go. Escape. And we're going to use the mirror command again. It's really handy. But we got to make a reference plane first in the middle. So let's do that. I don't think I might have skipped a step. Not seeing where it is, but we need a reference plane here in the middle to reference about. So I'm going to make a reference plane. I'm going to do it about the middle, to the midpoint of the wall. Midpoint of the wall. I'm going to hit escape twice because I want to pull it out a little bit, just in case I do stuff out there. You never know. And you can see when you hit it, dimensions even as well. So I might have missed a step, but I see I needed it. Here we go. Grab this. Our contextual prompt comes up with all of our options, right? Just pick mirror, pick access option. It recognizes that reference plane. And we're going to do both of them. Control left click is our friend to grab multiples surgically. Okay, escape again. Snapping around. On page 78, it has a lot of details about your snap commands and your snap angles. That's pretty handy stuff. It's in the Manage tab. And additional settings. It's in snaps right here. So you can change the increments your angles snap at by default, the lengths by default. Here's your snap shorthand aliases. Some other shortcuts. These are very handy. Oftentimes Revit is smart enough to see what you're snapping to close enough. But those snap aliases, if you type one in, it will only go to that type of snap. So go back here, it snaps, and you just want to go to a tangent. You type in SW, it only goes to tangents, no endpoints, anything, just for that command. Same with midpoints. It'll only for that command snap to midpoints if you type in SM. That could be handy if you're trying to get really surgical, but otherwise it's generally smart enough to find most of them. We'll continue on, and we're going to do the split element command in the modify tab. Split element is right here. We got a bunch of closed in walls. We're just going to take them out. So look at the options bar for sure on this one. This is critical. Otherwise, it will leave a We'll show you the difference here in a second. I'm going to do them a little out of order from the book, but let's just do the first couple. And the last one I'll do differently. And you see how when I hover this, get it kind of in here. Let's try doing it here to here. It leaves a little nub there, right? So Control Z, your friend for undo, or up here. Control Y is redo, or here. You're going to use those a lot. Let's hit Escape Z one more time. Let's go back to our command, split elements, and let's split it. Right, that one looks good. Let's undo it again. Let's see what happens when I don't have this. Pretty sure it'll just leave it. Yes, it will. So it splits the element, just doesn't remove it. Okay. Which in our case, we want to remove it. So let's go back to split command. That's why the options are always critical. You know, some of these commands, they make or break how they even function. So in this case, I already had it broken one spot. Let's try it one more time, just to show you the full picture. I didn't have it turned on. There we go. I fell to my own trick. Okay, there we go. Hit escape twice. For page 80, we got our corridor in the middle. That's great. Move on to our next part. I'm going to try to be brief in this part, not to get too deep because they're a little crazy. We're going to talk a little bit about wall joins and how editing them, moving them around. There's a few ways to do it. We're going to go into this part of the building and just talk about wall joins a little bit. And we'll start the wall command. We're going to draw a wall on page 82, one of our last walls in this area. It's going to be the same one. So let's just do that quick. Let's go to our Architect tab, Architect wall. Same wall still selected. Okay. Pick this one. Yep. Keep it there. No offset. Level 2 as well. And the elevation goes to, that's what we're picking. There. Let's go horizontal. Go to the middle of the wall. I always like to do that most times just to get it to join right. So we got that. Now, it's talking about wall joins and some options around them. It's a little deeper kind of stuff, but we'll explain it a little bit. The geometry panel of the modified tab, we're in the geometry panel here. This is edit wall joins, how walls join together, butt, miter, square off, you know, don't want that on. Go. So we'll hover this wall joins, and it's kind of just general representation of them going different directions. Mitering, one miters into a butted end, two butted ones together. So let's hit that button. And when you hover over a joint, it'll have this little box, okay? That's saying it's choosing that as your intersection. So pick anywhere within it. It has to be on though. We picked it. Now our options come up. So you can change that joint. It's a butt joint right now. You can allow or disallow it. Say it's not joined, or it is joined. It is allowed right now, and it is a butt joint, which most of your joints are in construction of buildings oftentimes, but it has some different options. So you can turn your miter on, and you can see it added that. I have fine on my view control, square off, and butt. Those look about the same, but miter literally looks different. So if I select these walls, they just look different how they join, right? Let me hit Control Z. They're back to butt. Okay. So displaying them, this isn't quite as important, but if we go visibility, orientation. So in fine mode, this can't be on. So let's go to coarse mode, view control, coarse, and now it's an option, clean all wall joins or only same. So these are different types of walls. So they don't have clean joins. So it's just different ways of displaying them. There's this little, line there basically, right? Here, we'll say clean them all like they connect. Small stuff, they went into great detail for that. But there's other things you can do too is when you select a wall, you go to its drag grip, right click, and you can disallow them that way too. It is disallowed now, and how you know is it is not joined. So see how it's just kind of hovering in here? Overlap, doesn't like that. Warnings, Z. This icon will allow it back, or you right click. Blue does right click when I hit that, red on my new cursor action, just FYI. You can allow it that way. Did it. Let's disallow it again. You can also click it and click this icon. Also does it. That's almost quicker in my mind, really. So yeah, that's about enough on those, I think. You can slide them back. They're all back again. This is probably the weirdest part of this whole chapter. And I'll see if I can get one or two steps. It's cutting profiles. So we're going to zoom into a really specific area of, we're going to try to cut out this piece of sheetrock right here. A little difficult, but it's saying like, hey, this whole wall is uniform going left to right, right to left. We don't want sheetrock in this elevator masonry chase. There wouldn't be sheetrock in there. So it's kind of saying we're going to cut this out. The steps are a little confusing, but I imagine if it's a command you use a lot, you would get better at it. We're going to zoom in here. The first thing we do, right click the blue grip at the end of the CMU wall, and we're going to tell it to disallow the join. This is a critical first step. So disallow. Okay. And pick the wall. See, it's disallowed. It's not meshing. We're going to go back to this point. Bam, right there. Interior of the sheetrock. It's left data click somewhere out in space. It should look like this. Okay. And we're going to go to the graphics panel of View tab to cut the profile now. So View tab is up here. Graphics panel, saying this is a panel, graphics, right? Ribbons, tabs, panels, all the way to a command, cut profile in this case. And we're going to keep it on face. Watch our options. It's saying, watch our status bar here. Always select a face to modify its boundary. So we're getting deeper in these walls, cutting things out of them. First step is we're going to pick that cut face to modify. We're going to pick inside of here. And now we're going to sketch mode. It takes us to sketch mode. We're sketching the cut profile basically to cut out of this wall. So we'll see this later in the book. We're going to say this is where it's going to cut from here, exactly here. First pick, second pick, right here. And it's saying that arrow, everything, to the arrow is going to remain. That's a side of material you are going to keep to the side it points. Depending on how you pick, it might point the other way and you'll do the opposite. So we want to keep that side. We want to get rid of the left. So that's great. Let's hit finish edit mode. Voila. Hit escape twice. We have our wall. So let's, I don't really like how these joints are. That's just because we changed them a bunch of times, I think. could be a little glitch too. But we cut out the sheetrock in here. Let's do the same to the south wall. Let's sorry, or the grip here, disallow join. Let's drag it back. The weirdest step of this whole chapter right here. I'm going to zoom wheel while I hold. A little difficult, but sometimes critical. There. Joint still disallowed. Escape. Now we're already in the view tab, graphics panel, cut profile. And we're going to pick the same sheetrock. Very critically get just that as the option, not this whole thing. Just this. We'll say top to bottom. And that did the opposite. Let's just see what it does. It'll probably do what we don't want to. So see, it kept whatever the arrow was pointing to. We can flip that by clicking it. That's helpful too. So if we pick in the wrong direction, enter, don't need to hit enter, you need to hit finish edit mode. There we go. Okay, that's done. Fun stuff. We're going to add some doors and windows now. I'm going to go back, double click, zoom all, or you can type in, if you're zoomed in, type in ZA. I'm going to start adding doors to floor plan level 1. We're still in floor plan level 1. The architecture tab, we're going to click the door button. Architecture tab, door button. Let's see what we got. I'm going to say load family just because maybe you haven't done this already. I think I had done it in the past, so I had to load it up. We're going to go to doors directory. So under this full cascading Windows C drive, as you install families and stuff, they will install here automatically. C drive, program data, Autodesk, blah, 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 libraries, Imperial. That's where it takes you to. Your families here. Doors, commercial, and we're going to get a door passage single flush. Hit open, and we're going to get the variety of size of 30 by 84. Okay. This is critical, easy to miss. Add the tag on placement in this case. So when you first place it, it will add a tag automatically, which is also helpful. Even if it's the wrong tag, you don't have to add it later, because a lot of times on floor plans and architect plans, you're going to have tags to identify them by a schedule, by a type, so someone can build it. You guys doing construction, whoever. So you'll see what that means in a second. I'm going to place this slow, kind of in the middle of this wall. It's not showing the same temporary dimensions that I'm seeing in the book. 1 second, see if I missed anything. It's okay if I don't put it in the right spot right away. You can always change it later. It's parametric modeling for you. Place it now, edit after. Let's just place it right here and get it close. Well, let's see what it is saying on page 93, actually. Edit type. And wall closure. Wrapping in inserts. Just checking my options here. Construction, exterior, wrapping at inserts. I'm not seeing the same option. Okay, that's the wall options. Yep, both. All right, we're going to continue placing it for now. Accept that, hit escape. And editing door tags is pretty easy. So we can check this too. We can click on the door, start with some temporary dimensions. Let's, just for the sake of explanation here, let's just make this 2 feet. It's not quite that in the book, but you can make it whatever. Here our tag. it's saying you can edit these tags. So I double click that on page 96, 97. I'm going to say 101. It's my new tag number. You can also click the door and edit that in the properties here as well. You can also flip doors. So we've learned a little bit, the orientations, if you got it in the wrong spot initially. There's a lot of editing you can do after the fact, after placement in Revit. So let's hit escape. We're going to go to the doors directory again. And load family. Let's just go this direction for now. Door passage double flush. There we are. Hit open. And 72 by 84, 72 inches by 84 inches, 6 feet by 7 feet. And it's loading. Give it a second. We have to go to a host, a wall in this case, to even let it do it. Otherwise, it won't pop out here. It needs to go to a host. The family wants to go to a host. The door wants to go to a wall. That works. You notice how my dimensions were even as I placed it. Oftentimes Revit likes to say symmetrical. That's helpful to start for a lot of times. We just need to get in the middle of a wall or something like that, just like we did there. I added a tag right away. It didn't do it in the book, which is whatever. We're going to mirror both these along the reference plane in the middle. So I have one on the top, one on the bottom. Select the wall, mirror, pick access. There we go. Escape. We'll do 100 B on the bottom, 100 C on the top. For sake of explanation, it's hard for me to read that book almost. I can also go in here. Tag changed. I'll select the whole door to go to all the doors properties over here. C. And let's keep adding doors. Let's add the doors like we see on page 98. So they're going to be single flush, 36 by 64. Hit escape. Let's go back to door. You can load the family again. So also see what we have in here. Single flush, 36 by 84. There we go. So check between here and all the family options in there. Your most used ones will populate. It seems to be over time. So the first door they add, they want it to be called 100B. So I made a mistake. We're going to add some of those later in here. Let's add this guy, since it was our last used one. Let's add that one first. It's centered. Okay. This one they wanted 100B. We already had that. Should call it 100. Keep moving on. Let's go back to door. And we're going to add the laboratory doors, north and south. And that's the one on page 97 I was getting at. I got a little ahead of myself, added one door ahead of the other. You could do them in whatever order, but single flush, 36 by 84. There we are. And let's start adding those. Doesn't have to be in a particular order. We can rename them later, all that, this and the other thing. I'll just start with this one. 1 foot off. Let's go to this one. That one's in the orientation. So if you look at the picture on page 98, Doesn't give exact dimensions. I don't think that's the whole point of this exercise, to be precise. You can do that afterwards. It's trying to just get you familiar with. Hit space bar. Go. I'm just going about a foot off of every wall, just to keep moving. And same with this one. See my temp dimension up here, comes up here. It's about a foot. Okay. Escape. And in the book, they had you go in the tags. A lot of blue stuff is editable in general and Revit. Grayed out is not, oftentimes. So I have a 105 already. Yeah, down here. So let's call this, let's go in reverse order, because we can have, it will do redundancies, but it won't, it'll warn you with some of this stuff with schedules, which is helpful. Helps defeat human error. We're going to go to place openings in our wall. So we got to place an opening. It's going to be an arch opening, and it's going to go over here when we make a wall. It's in the place component tab, and we're going to go into an area to get that in a second. So you make sure I got all my settings good. It does it in a little bit of reverse order, which I don't love. It goes pretty deep in the details, but it says if we're going to place a component, let's go there. And we're going to load family again and see what kind of components we're talking about. So let's go back a couple. And we're going to go to openings, different openings and walls, right? This is one we're going to get. We'll hit open, and it'll load up on our options. So now it's first and foremost in some of this. So that's also part of the help, is it brings in these into our model for further usage. I'm still learning the power of that, how quick it does it, how many it does, but they definitely will remain in most all sizes. So now we have it here, and we're going to replace a certain size, but when I have that selected, we can edit the type right now, the properties for the family type that the selected element belongs to, and all instances of this element will be affected by these change type, right? They're powerful editing tools. In this case, we're going to edit this one, not necessarily this one. We're going to say duplicate. So we're going to duplicate the 36-inch by 84-inch. We're on it right now, the passage opening elliptical arc. Stay on that, duplicate. But we're going to call it, yes, it wants to give it a new name because it has to. We're going to call this 7 foot by 7 foot, aka 84-inch by 84-inch. Let's edit it so it is 7 feet by 7 feet in width and height. So the book has us do. And yeah, we made a new one, essentially, a new arch with similar parameters. We modified it. So it's going to do a 7 foot by 7 foot elliptical arch instead of the last 3 foot by 7 foot. That's what we're doing, basically. Now that is created, we have it available. Based it off of this one initially, and we made the type fairly similar, but added a new dimension. So that can be really handy and powerful. Hit escape. We're gonna make a wall first to put that opening into. Otherwise, it doesn't just go into anything. We can put it in the wrong wall, but we're gonna make a wall where we're gonna put it here in a sec. We're gonna zoom in to that middle area, add a wall. This method I'll choose this time. And we're gonna go on the inside of this. Flip it, space bar. And I'm just making sure it's still going to level 2. Doesn't need to necessarily, as long as it's in this orientation. Escape twice. Now we're going to place the component. So on step 11, very critical, to now we go to component. We have our component, the one we just made, right? And now we can place it. Well, we could have placed it before, but this is where we intended to place it. Let's center it. See how my temp dimensions like that? They're the same. Boom. There's my opening. Let's look at it in 3D view. That's what I did. I'm going to hit Shift, my roll mouse at the same time to do an open orbit. There we go. That's 7 foot by 7 foot of elliptical arch on the top. Cool. Let's go back to floor plan level 1. That's what it looks like in floor plan view. Let's add our last few things here. Let's continue on. Double mouse click in the middle, my mouse roll button to zoom all. And let's go Architect tab door. Step 1 on page 100. In the properties tab, let's check double flush. So we have been using this. Same one here. Select it. We're not going too deep in all the options here, but you know, we're getting the gist at the beginnings of this. We're adding these. So let's add here. Doesn't really matter. Let's get it centered. I left the tag icon on up here. Okay. Because I don't want to add it later. Why would I if I don't need to? But that's how learning this stuff goes. This one, we want 100D. Blue's editable. This one will be 100C. That one was already there, so I must probably have a duplicate name somewhere. No big deal to continue on to this. We'll go to window now. Add that. And let's see what we got. We're going to add some of these to the model. Very similar to adding a door. And we're going to add it 36 by 72 fixed. And we got the fixed window. We're going to go to the larger size right there. Hover on it. R2 insulation. I suspect that that's what that means, or heat factor value. Wants to go to the center is what you're trying to say in the book. We're going to put it elsewhere. We'll put it so it has this you can drag the grip on the temporary dimension. We can't right now, but let's just put that here for now. So you can drag these temporary dimensions. That became a permanent dimension. That's what it's saying. You can drag these grips, these temporary dimensions to where you want. This is something also to help you annotate better. So say you want to go to a specific spot to annotate from. This is very powerful. 4 feet from that spot, or be like, okay, I don't, if you hit that icon, it works as well. So we'll say now inside wall. That's my datum I want to go from. I would have showed you this earlier, but one at a time, one little new editing tool at a time. 2 feet. It's saying in this case, we want to go from here 2 feet. So let's just go there. Drag it. Now we'll call it 2 feet. That's the power of those temporary dimensions. You can also move them to the exact datum before you change them, which can be helpful. Let's add some more windows. Same ones. Let's just call this one's going to be kind of similar distance. I'll put it right there. And let's check this one. Let's check the measurement actually of this. Let's make them equal. Say, what's this to here? 10 1/8 of an inch, 10 inches, 1/8. Okay, I have that option. I don't have to even slide my temporary dimension anywhere else. It's already good. hit redo. I don't want to redo it, undo everything. Let's say that did 10 feet, 1/8. I'm still learning some of the best shorthand nomenclature, but there we go. But that's the wrong datum. So we're going to go back to here. We'll eventually get this. There we go. Got that squared away. Add another window, or create similar. Our old friend is back. Place it there. Escape. Let's check our temp dimensions. Let's click on this one. I like where they're originating from. That looks close enough to the book, for example. 7 feet. Placed them. Now, you can move tags too. Say if you didn't like, oh, the book wants it that way, or you just want it wherever, you can just move them, drag them, right? So let's grab all of them. And no, that step's not quite yet. It wants us to edit the tag. So we edit these window tags. They're all of the same element and the same size. So yes, let's change them all. Before, let's mirror them. So that's some of the power of this last step, as we've used many times, is just mirror them about these handy reference planes. Go, escape. That's essentially the end of the chapter. You can also go into these windows, just like other ones, in the edit type of this, say fixed, just this one element type. You go deeper in here, lots of options. You can edit that letter here too. Let's call it BV. There, they all changed in our model. All right, that's the end of chapter 2. You've learned a lot more about placing walls, dimensions, how to use reference planes, better draft and join walls, edit walls, split things, cut them, cut out pieces within a wall, a little bit adding doors, openings, and windows, and how to more precisely use measurements and temporary dimensions and move them to where you need to go, and also how to make them permanent when you want to leave them. That's the end of chapter 2. We'll see you at chapter 3.